Morning, Spencer.
Hey, good morning.
We got two great guests in studio today. We are talking about the Lake Cushman Firewise Council. They're having a program on Saturday from 1 to 3, this Saturday, May 4th at Fire District 18 station there on Standstill Road. Bill Sostrich and Chuck Lucas are in studio with us. Good morning, guys.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Well, thanks for getting in touch with us and talking about this very important topic here, as the weather this week is nice and we're starting to get into the warm seasons, the warm and dry seasons. So the Lake Cushman Firewise Council, they've been meeting. You guys have been meeting for a few years now, and to talk about how folks in the Lake Cushman area and beyond can be prepared as Wildfire Community Preparedness Day is on the way.
Yeah, Bill's been involved for, many years.
Yeah, we started in 2006, and so we've been trying to do education with our community regarding defensible space is what it is, the word. And so we try and educate our homeowners about keeping an area clear around their homes, and so that means fuel reduction.
Yeah. Have you seen changes in the Cushman area since 2006? Have there been a significant increase in fires and the ways that people are perhaps not having and maintaining defensible spaces? Or
Well, you know what I think I see at Lake Cushman now compared to in the past is more participation from the community.
Good.
Our group is growing like crazy. Started out kind of small, and now it's gotten really large, and people are pitching in to do their thing, turning in timesheets, which give us credit with the National Firewise Councils and stuff to keep us active and current. So that's the biggest thing.
what is defensible space, and how do you explain that to the folks at the group?
We have a film we're going to show as how your home can survive a wildfire, and you basically have to have your house kind of stand on itself and be safe itself, because you can't stay there and squirt water on it and hope, you know, because you're going to want to get out if something happens. So we're trying to train that. I mean, cleaning roofs, cleaning gutters, just little debris that gets around your decks and so forth. And we have so many elderly folks at Lake Cushman. We want to help them, so because they can't do everything, and we're not a bunch of young folks either. So it's a retirement kind of community and so forth. So we do our best. We do chipping days and things like that too, which, you know, cleaning up the neighborhood.
You know, one of the beauties of Lake Cushman, and I've played at the golf course there, so I've seen the homes, and in betwixt all the nice trees, and it is a beautiful landscape, so you kind of want to try to balance those two things. But I can definitely see how, as the weather gets drier and the needles come off the trees, that they'll really fill up those gutters and the rooftops, and that's probably a big one.
Our big concern is if there is a big wildfire, it's the little embers that are put off by that wildfire. So the idea is we need to convince or educate the people up there that there's areas, for instance, around the screen where your the vents are. Those need to be covered, and right now it's an eighth of an inch or less screen. And that's what protects from those embers going into your home.
Wow.
So that's a big thing. That's what we try and do. Again, cleaning your roof, cleaning your gutters, and limbing up trees so that the trees basically, it's ladder fuel is what it's called. And so we're trying to keep the fire, if there is a fire, it stays on the ground. It doesn't go up into the trees.
Sure.
So that's a big thing.
Spencer?
We live on 5 acres in Grapeview, and we're always kind of worried about that. We smell a lot of. The other night we smelled smoke so intensely. Just out of curiosity, I know this is kind of anecdotal, but I went outside, walked around the perimeter. It smelled like there was a fire on our property. That's how strong the smoke was. I couldn't find any evidence of it or anything. What can people do? I mean, I didn't want to call the fire department. I didn't want to use up resources. We didn't see any flames. We didn't see anything around, but we're thinking to ourselves, okay, it's a cold night. Someone's just burning, a wood stove or wood fireplace or something. That's what we're smelling. But it was so intense. We smelled it all through the house. And what can people do, without overreacting, but at the same time, you don't want everything to go up in flames, and especially in wooded areas and stuff. Is there anything you would suggest, without overtaxing resources and stuff? If you don't see a fire, are you okay? I mean, I don't know where that
Yeah.
smell came from to this day. I mean, it was so intense.
I think that's the big thing is you don't want to overreact to stuff. It's basically trying to just look around you, see what's
Yeah.
going on. We try and do that at Lake Cushman, keep everybody
Yeah.
calm during those
Sure.
times because smoke does. We've had that situation some years back. There was the fire in the Skoke Valley. A lot of our people were seeing that smoke, and so you start reacting, and that's a part of our plan too, is creating evacuation plans and things
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. So we try and be proactive in that area.
That's a great idea, the
Yeah,
whole
we have-
evacuation plan.
We have to keep everything organized in some way because it could be crazy, so
Oh, yeah.
we're kind of on to you and your sprinklers. Did you turn the sprinklers on?
Well, that's what my wife's doing next because we're getting a couple of them are broken. Some raccoons broke some of the ones. They were little buggers and broke them, so we have to redo some of them. But I was going to ask you, that was another question I had. That's helpful, right, to water down everything around the perimeter of a house?
Yeah,
Like the
we think
lawns
so.
and that, yeah.
We just it can be great, but if everybody turns their sprinkler systems on, it's going to tax the water system. The fire department comes if there
sure.
is a fire,
Wow.
and then we need that pressure.
It's just that space, that 5 to 30 feet right around your house. It's extremely important that you keep if you have lawns or something like that, it's really good. It keeps up the moisture, so you're a little safer in that respect.
You got a lot of great representatives coming to talk about this with you on Saturday from 1 to 3 at Fire District 18, the station there on Standstill. And Lake Cushman is right next to some of the big national parks and state parks and stuff. So you'll have emergency management come, local fire chiefs will be there, and a representative from the Park and Forest Service. Is that something that you guys have worked hard on to make sure that you are in those conversations with the parks departments? And
We continue to do that, yes. Trying to get everybody on the same page. We want to make sure everybody knows what would be the situation if there is a wildfire.
you put on here too, this is a good one for any other community really, is the Lake Cushman Block Watch. I would imagine that you've got a fair amount of snowbirds that come in and out, and whether or not they're there all year long, but there's always some folks on Cushman property around the neighborhoods to keep an eye on things. Is that a active list that you guys have been able to create?
We have a very active block watch community. Each division, Lake Cushman is organized in divisions, so each division has a block watch captain. They keep a list of all the people in their neighborhood. We have maps that they've created that shows who's going to be there maybe in a certain period of time. So it's a very good way of communicating that information.
Yeah. This would be good for anybody in a neighborhood to learn more about how you can present to your neighborhood ways to be safe, as we try to learn more on defensible space, structure protection, emergency preparations, as well as evacuation routes and more. Prizes for folks with fire-resistant plants to get folks to show up to, outdoor tools and gardening, and some films to watch on preventing home ignition and how your home can survive a wildfire. Last year we saw just devastating fires all around the West Coast here. And so this is a good start with the Wildfire Community Preparedness Day is coming up as well. The Lake Cushman Firewise Council meeting is Saturday, 1 to 3, Fire District 18 station on Standstill Road. And the Firewise Council is a 501c3 nonprofit. So we want to thank Peninsula Credit Union for offering time up to allow nonprofits to come on and give out messages just like this. Chuck, Bill, it was good to see you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks
you
for
so much
coming
for
on and
coming in,
letting us
guys.
know about this thing.